It's a year-long preparation for this game. It is a huge game for not only this team, for our fan base, for everything that this game deserves.
Again, breaking tackles again. Dalvin Cook running to the end zone, and Florida State ties it up. It's blocked. It's no good. The Noles.
Travis gonna go deep. Has a man and in stride. It is Pokey Wilson.
Talk about leaving a legacy. What legacy do you want to leave in this series? And my goodness, we're going to look back upon this game for years to come. Program defining type of night.
It's one of the best rivalries out there. The Noles have gone back-to-back against Miami, and they're hoping to keep the streak alive in front of an elite crowd of recruits. Zach Blostein of Noles247 is here to preview a massive recruiting weekend. Zach, the Noles currently rank 4th in the 2024 recruiting rankings. Now they're hosting 100 recruits in Tallahassee this weekend. What are the biggest names in the 2024 cycle we need to watch?
Yeah, man, you got to start with Jeremiah Smith, the 5-star wide receiver committed to Ohio State, the #1 overall prospect in the class of 2024. Who doesn't want Jeremiah Smith? Florida State's, one of 3 schools I think really in it to try and flip him from the Buckeyes right now. From people I speak to, I think FSU might be in the best position to pull that off. It's going to be a tough flip, right? Like, he's been committed to the Buckeyes for a while. Brian Hartline does a great job over there. Recruiting elite wide receivers, having that wide receiver room stacked every year. But FSU's been, getting him on campus consistently. I think this will be his 5th visit to campus this year. He's an uber talented prospect, a can't miss guy, and FSU badly wants him in their 2024 recruiting class.
Zach, we talked about 2024, the #1 player right there in Jeremiah Smith, Florida State's still working on. How about 2025? Who are some names coming in that cycle that will be in Tallahassee this weekend?
Yeah, so you got to start again with the #1 overall prospect in the 2025 class, David Sanders, the offensive lineman out of the Carolinas. He's visited Florida State one time before over the summer. FSU will get their first crack at an in-season visit with David Sanders and his family this weekend for their big-time rivalry matchup with Miami. David Sanders is an elite offensive tackle prospect that FSU really wants to add to their 25 class. It's a really unique situation there with the #1 player in both the 24 and 25 classes visiting Florida State this weekend, and FSU hopes to capitalize on trying to get David Sanders in that 25 class. Another guy to mention in this class is running back Ousmane Kroma. He's out of Lee County High School in Leesburg, Georgia. He's one of Florida State's top overall targets in the 25 class, guy that's really emerged as their top running back target in 25. They absolutely love him. They absolutely love recruiting South Georgia. It's a region, obviously really close to Tallahassee, and they've done a great job this cycle of recruiting guys from that region, like Cam Davis, another 4-star running back from South Georgia, along with 5-star tight end Landon Thomas, who they flipped from the University of Georgia earlier on this cycle. They're looking to continue that success in South Georgia with Ousmane Kroma, one of the most productive running backs in the 25 cycle. Last guy I want to mention in 25, there are a number of other guys that I could bring up, but this guy's a baller. 5-star wide receiver Jamie French. He's an Alabama commit. He goes to Jacksonville Mandarin High School. Florida State was in it for him for his early commitment to Bama. I think it was Bama, Ohio State, and FSU. But FSU hasn't given up. They have some things working in their favor in this recruitment. His high school quarterback is Tramel Jones, who's a 4-star 2025 prospect committed to Florida State. So Tramel's in his ear constantly about joining forces with him in Tallahassee. This weekend, they'll both be in Tallahassee as FSU looks to flip the 5-star from the Crimson Tide.
The transfer portal, obviously a huge piece of recruiting, and Mike Norvell has become one of the best at utilizing it. So, Zach, what are some positional needs that he needs to hit in the portal this year?
Yeah, I think you got to start at edge. They have a elite edge guy in Jared Verse right now that's likely going to the NFL draft after this season. He could have done it last season, but Florida State got him back for one more year. Fully expect him to depart the program after the season, and FSU needs to replace that production with a quality guy out of the portal, in my opinion. They have some some nice guys on their depth chart at that position, but no one that's truly elite. And I think Florida State needs to go big game hunting for an edge out of the portal. I think next up, they're going to probably highly prioritize linebacker in the portal. They're going to lose their 2 starting linebackers from this season, Kalen DeLoach and Tatum Bethune, both very productive players. I think you just saw the highlight there of Kalen DeLoach having that strip fumble recovery for a touchdown against Clemson that kind of positioned FSU to win that game. And they're going to need to replace 2 veteran guys on their defense. And I think the portal is going to be the method to which they do that. And then finally, this might surprise some people, but quarterback. Jordan Travis is leaving the team after this year. He runs out of eligibility finally. Feels like he's been in college football forever. And he's obviously had a great career at Florida State. So FSU needs to find the next guy. And they have a couple guys on their roster that could be options for them moving forward. In my opinion, I think they need to go to the portal to maybe get a 1-year rental guy, a grad transfer type that they can rely on for 1 year to kind of just bridge the gap, right? Between Jordan Travis and that next option, whoever that might be. Brock Glenn is a guy on their roster that they feel great about for the future. They're bringing in a 4-star quarterback, borderline 5-star prospect, and Luke Kromenhoek, who I know 24/7 Sports is super high on, and he's a guy that'll join the program in January. So maybe, if they see early great returns from Kromenhoek in spring ball, they don't opt to go for a quarterback in the portal. But in my opinion, I think it'd be smart to at least explore that option.
Zach, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the elephant in the room of the 5-star Cam Coleman committed to Texas A&M. He will be visiting in Tallahassee this weekend. Another guy committed to LSU, that's 4-star cornerback Kai Bates. What's the feel going into this weekend with Florida State, their chances to flip both those guys?
Yeah, so with Cam Coleman, he's the guy that Florida State was definitely in on and involved with before his commitment to Texas A&M over the summer. They hosted him for an unofficial visit in June, but didn't get an OV from him over the summer, and things kind of fell off after he committed to A&M. But they kept in contact over the last few months, and things materialized into an expected visit this weekend for the Miami game for Cam Coleman. Obviously, an elite prospect that FSU absolutely wants to add. I think Jeremiah Smith is someone that they're probably in a better spot for right now, but Cam Coleman could be a guy that they better position themselves after this weekend, after this visit for the Miami game, after he gets to experience what's expected to be a crazy atmosphere in Doak Campbell Stadium. And then Kai Bates, the LSU commit, he's another prospect that officially visited Florida State in June for a midweek OV. And, he's a guy that Florida State absolutely wants to add as well. They probably want to add 2 more defensive backs in the 2024 cycle. You guys mentioned before, Jamari Howard's announcing his commitment tomorrow on the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel. I feel great about where things stand with FSU and Jamari Howard. And they're probably going to look to add 1 more. And Kai Bates is a prime candidate for that last addition. They're looking to flip him from the LSU Tigers, who they actually beat early on in this season on the gridiron.
Zach, you think about the way Mike Norvell has turned this program around, and all 3 of the Florida schools, trying to come back to prominence. Florida State certainly leading that way with their playoff push right now. How pivotal is this moment, this recruiting weekend for Norvell and his Florida State tenure?
It feels like it's kind of all been building up to this. Based on some conversations I had with people inside the building over the summer, they had been mentioning this weekend as the marquee weekend for them in the entire 2024 recruiting cycle. Obviously, it's going to impact more than just the 24 cycle, as we talked about before, with some of the top prospects in the country visiting in 25 and even the class of 2026. So this is a weekend that they've invested a ton of time and resources into getting top prospects on campus. Anytime FSU plays one of its rivals, whether that's Miami or Florida, it's going to be a big-time atmosphere, and this weekend is no different. So they're going to look to capitalize on all the eyes that will be inside Doak Campbell Stadium from the recruiting section, and I anticipate great results if the Noles are able to handle business on Saturday.
All right, Zach, thanks so much. And remember, for more recruiting updates from Florida State throughout the weekend, and as we get closer to signing day, stay tuned to Noles247.com.